till they call the cops.
Hey my amazing weirdos, I am Kat, this is CDLB. Welcome if you are new and welcome back if you're not. So, for those of you who are new, then you wouldn't have noticed that I have gone missing for like 2 months. And I keep going missing and I'm so sorry. So sorry about that. This time it was not intentional. It also wasn't anything bad. I actually had a summer job that I was working at and it was pretty much a 24/7 job. So it kept me really busy, and the times that I wasn't busy doing something, I was asleep because, you know, it's 24/7. It's a lot happening. Just, I was asleep. So for the summer, that's what I was doing. That's why I was away. For those of you who are regular subbies and regular weirdo fam, sorry, I've been gone for so long, but I'm back. So on today's video, it's actually a story time in the spirit of going back to school and freshman year and all of that good stuff. I have a story time for you guys that's a bit weird, but it's about how my freshman year roommate for my first semester was psychotic. She was crazy. Okay, maybe she wasn't psychotic, but she had problems. We're gonna call her Sally. Okay, so freshman year comes, I get in there, my parents are helping me move with my things, and I left downstairs to go grab some papers or something, and I guess her and her parents' interaction with mine were not the best. They were kind of standoffish, and I didn't really think anything of it. I wasn't there. This is what I was just being told. So they all left or whatever. She had like this really, her side of the room was super nice. My side of the room was like really drab. This was before I liked anything about interior designing and making things look pretty and organized. I didn't really care. Her side of the room was really super nice. She complained the entire time about how dirty the room was before we got in there. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the fact that like I don't think the university like wiped down in a while. So she went on this like weird cleaning spree, and not just like wiping things down. Like they put like Comet powder in the bathtub, and like it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. The dorms that we stayed in were a little bit different because we didn't stay in regular freshman dorms. We technically stayed in off-campus dorms that held freshmen and upperclassmen. And we were in actually one of the nicer dorms. Had she stayed in the official freshman dorm, it would have been like all hell would have broke loose because those dorms were a lot worse than ours, and in those dorms you had to share bathrooms. We were fortunate enough to have our own bathroom and a decent sized room. We had a full-size fridge, which was super nice, and I'm pretty sure we also had a microwave, if I'm not mistaken. One thing that I thought was really weird is she thought that she could bond with me over her love of black guys. I gotta take a moment. And she was seemingly a really great girl, but she just constantly kept bringing up the I like black guys thing. It was really uncomfortable for me because I don't really care what nationality or ethnicity or whatever. As long as you're a great person, I would date you. But yeah, she thought that we could bond over that, and I was just kind of like, that's okay, it's a weird assumption. I'm like, cool, I guess. That was one of the things that kind of threw me off. And then it was within the first like day or two of us being there, she brought over someone in our room. First of all, without letting me know, and second of all, without asking. And my thing was, I'm okay if you bring people into the room. I really don't care. I didn't have anything valuable there, so by all means do what you do. But I just felt like it would have been common courtesy to let me know, if that made sense. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Like, mind you, we only lasted a week together. We lasted a week. This is how bad it was. We lasted a week together. The first couple of days were pretty cool. We like went and explored Brooklyn together, and it was nice, and you know, we were like trying to get to know each other, and we hung out a fair bit. But one of my pet peeves were she kept bringing people to the room, and she kept bringing guys to the room without giving me a fair warning. I don't care if it was a guy or a girl, but you just give somebody a fair warning, like, hey, listen, I have somebody in our room, just to give you a heads up. There were several times within this 1 week that I walked in on her and some random person, and on like 3 of the occasions, this guy was like sitting on my bed. I don't know you. Why are you... No. That was one of my pet peeves. Obviously, I don't have receipts. Like, that was hella long ago. I've graduated college now. I did a 5-year program, so I'm well graduated with college now. But yeah, it was just weird. It was really weird. And I would text her and I'd be like, hey, you know, just next time, could you please let me know if there's gonna be somebody in the room? Because, you know, I don't want to interrupt anything. Not saying that anything's happening. I can kind of just steer clear until, you know, the room is ready to be occupied again. I wasn't a bitch about it. I wasn't rude about it. Part of that time, I was dating someone, and that upcoming weekend was going to be our 1-year anniversary. And I had asked her before we had even made any plans, and I was just like, hey, listen, would it be okay if my boyfriend came and stayed for the weekend? And she was like, yeah, sure, you know, that's fine, it's whatever. And then she didn't really say too much of anything about it. It got later on in the week, and by this time we had made like totally separate friends, I guess, that like kind of fit our style. At the time, I really wasn't into like makeup. I wasn't really into like... There was just a lot of things that I really wasn't into, that our styles just didn't really fit together. So that's, again, totally fine, because I try to be, you know, cordial with everyone, friends with everyone up to a certain point, until you like irritate me and piss me off, and then I'm only human. I just don't feel like dealing with you. At that point, we hadn't even gotten to that point. What got us to that point was I had texted her again during the middle of the week, and I was just like, hey, you know, just a heads up, I'm double checking and making sure it's okay that he comes to visit this weekend. She said, yeah, no, it's fine. I explained to her we're only going to be in the room basically to sleep. We had plans the entire weekend, so we would barely be there, so it wouldn't really be putting her out, but I just wanted to make sure she was comfortable. She said, yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, you guys are only going to be there to basically sleep and wake up, so it's cool. In comes the day that he's supposed to get there. She waits until about an hour before he arrives, and she's like, I don't think that this is a good idea. I don't think your boyfriend should be sleeping over the first weekend that we're here, and I think that, you know, we should be spending this time to get to know each other better, this, that, and the third. I don't feel comfortable with having a strange guy in the room. It was intense. It was interesting, to say the least. It was weird because even during the week, she had a friend stay over, one that I didn't know, regardless of whether or not it was a female. I didn't know who she was. She didn't give me a heads up. They literally came in at like 3 o'clock in the morning. They were drunk. They almost blew up the microwave because they tried to stick a Hot Pocket with a plastic on. So the shit almost caught fire. It was a hot mess. It didn't really make any sense to me, and that would have been all well and fine had she said that in the beginning of the week when I first asked her. Had she said that in the middle of the week when I asked her again, it wasn't okay because he was literally on his way to come and visit. It was just like, I mean, it's kind of too late. He's already on his way, so I don't know what you want me to tell you, but it's kind of not like he has somewhere else to stay. So I'm not really sure why you didn't explain this to me in the beginning of the week when I first asked you, and in the middle of the week when I asked you again. We've seen each other every day since then, so I'm confused as to where there was a loss in communication, which you should have expressed this to me. But the whole part of like, I don't feel comfortable with a strange dude being in the room, I didn't understand that because she did not know any of the guys that she brought back to our room. She had just met them and brought them back to our room, so I didn't understand. That didn't make any sense to me. Her logic was that because they lived in the building, they technically weren't strangers. Now, it sounds like I'm kind of being an asshole and being like, well, oh well, deal with it. However, we had several conversations during the week where she's basically saying like she had other places that she could have crashed, but she was making it into a bigger issue than it was. And then she made it into such a big deal where she got an RA involved and the RD involved. So if you don't know what that means, the residential advisor and the residential director, because this was a different RA that got involved, which was also weird and annoying.
Our RA was actually going away for the weekend, so he couldn't really deal with the issue because he wasn't going to be there.
But before he left, I asked, is this like gonna be an issue? Because I don't understand. Maybe I'm like being crazy or being rude or meaning. I showed him all of our text messages and stuff, and he was like, no, because that doesn't make any sense. If she agreed to it, she agreed to it, and she's waiting until the last minute. It's not like he lives in the dorms and you could just go and hang out with him, or he could just go back to his dorm. He's coming from somewhere else. So this is a matter of his safety and well-being after she already said yes, and he's already on his way from a place that took like 2 hours. They were both kind of looking at her like she was crazy because, again, I showed them the text messages. I explained to them the conversations that we had. She didn't deny any of the text messages. She didn't deny any of the conversations. She was just like, I changed my mind. And they were just like, well, that's kind of unfortunate, but there's not really much that we can do.
At this point, my boyfriend was actually already there waiting in the bathroom for this conversation to be over.
Apparently, they told me after like we had this little meeting or whatever in the dorm that she had made up this whole lie saying that like I was just refusing to be considerate and all of this other extra stuff. They said basically once I showed them the text messages and things like that, and I really wish I still had them, that I was being more than considerate, I was being nice, and they were kind of shocked at how cordial I was being throughout the situation. But one of the things that struck me as odd, well, two things. They asked if it would be okay for my boyfriend to stay in some random guy's room. My boyfriend at that time didn't go to that school. So no, that would not be okay. That's not a thing. First of all, I didn't want everybody in my business. Second of all, it would just be weird, you know, like it would be really, really weird. And then I was just like, I'm confused because she's the one with the issue, and she has mentioned several times before she has like 4 places that she can stay in the event that she's coming in too late or in the event that she doesn't want to be in the dorm. I'm confused as to why I'm the one who's like being made out to be a villain, and I've literally done nothing but try and be nice. Not to mention all of her points are invalid because every point that she's making has to do with having a random person in our room, and she's had several random people that, 1, I don't know, 2, she didn't know half of those people, she just brought them back to our room, and then 3, she also did the same thing that I'm doing and had someone sleep over. But the only difference is she never asked. She never let me know that the person was sleeping over or anything like that. The difference is I gave her the common courtesy and I kept checking in. So I'm confused as to how am I the villain in all of this? So they asked us both, like, do you think you two could be roommates after this? Like, would it be salvageable? And before I could even say anything, she goes, you know, no, I just don't think that is gonna work. And it's just the aura in here, it's not good. It's really black and just red. We were all kind of looking at her like, that was a lot to say no. That was like real extra to say no. All she had to do was say no. She was being super extra throughout the whole situation, about the whole situation. Once she left and the RD and RA asked to speak to me one-on-one, they kind of apologized to me for having to deal with the situation, and I was just like, I thought I was being a bitch. I really thought like she was making it out to seem like I was being a bitch, and I really wasn't. I was trying to be really nice given the circumstances and the situation. But yeah, so she ended up moving out, and I didn't have a roommate the entire semester. I had a double all to myself, which was really nice, especially for when I had like friends over, or there were my best friend Hillary. That's she was there through all of that, and she lived in a dorm, but she lived in a dorm like hella uptown, I think. I don't know, but it was weird. She like lived further than we did, and we lived just across the bridge. So she would come and hang out all the time, and it was nice. It was nice. My freshman year, first semester was great. Once she left, and then apparently it was like this whole situation to where she was like telling people about the situation. She was basically like making me out to be the villain. She could have at the end of the day felt like, you know what, maybe he might try and murder me in my sleep, or maybe they want to do it while I'm in the room, which I would not do that. That's really rude and really disgusting. So maybe she felt that way. Maybe she had her reasons, and it was what it was, but she moved out. I didn't think that it would be fair to make me move out, and I was the one that didn't have the issue. So that was that. That was my crazy roommate story. My roommates for the next semester were pretty great. It started off a bit rocky because they also had a really shitty roommate experience before I came. So they were just kind of like waiting to see if I was going to be a psycho. And then when they realized I was not a psycho, they were like, oh, okay, cool. We can all hang out. We all went out together. We ate together. It was nice. It was really nice. Yeah, so that is my story time. If you guys have had any messed up roommate stories or any weird roommate stories, or if you guys love your roommates, comment down below and let me know what your experiences were. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to give it a thumb up. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button. I'm pretty sure it'll be like down here, or maybe it'll be over here. No, it'll be here. It'll be here. I'm pretty sure it will. So click on that subscribe button and click on that little notification bell that lets you know when I get videos up, which I will be doing a whole lot more of. Today is the second video that I filmed today. Bye, my amazing weirdos. See you next time.